Hey guys, it's Doug with Basic Safe, and today I want to talk to you about my top 10 workplace safety tips. Try to keep these simple, hopefully things you can implement without costing you anything, without them being much work. So my number one tip is improve your workplace safety culture. This is a very easy thing to do without spending any money. And what that consists of is making sure everyone's on the same page. Everyone knows that you're focused on safety and that you care about safety, making sure that everyone is comfortable talking about safety and that you talk about it often, and making sure that you're doing things to make sure your employees feel safe. If they feel more safe and they feel that they're comfortable sharing with you when they're not safe, that's going to improve your safety culture. Number two, avoid worker fatigue. Avoiding worker fatigue is going to prevent injuries down the line. It's going to prevent mishaps that could have been avoided just because people weren't aware of what was going on around them. Which brings me to number three, know the hazards in your workplace and stay aware of your surroundings. Knowing the hazards in your workplace is obviously going to help you to avoid them. If you know in a specific area you need to look out for trip hazards such as cords, things like that, then you're going to be paying attention to those. Make sure that your employees are comfortable with calling each other out when there is hazards in the area that another employee seems to not be seeing. But you being aware of them, make sure that you can let your employees know of the hazards that are laying around, and just make sure that your employees are staying aware. Kind of back to the worker fatigue. You can't really change how much sleep your workers are getting unless you're overworking them, obviously. But worker fatigue is just going to a lot of times come down to stress. Make sure that your employees are not stressed out. If you have a good safety culture, they should be able to share with you when they are stressed out, what's stressing them out, which should help you to improve that. Number four, make sure your employees are taking breaks to move, that you're taking breaks to move. And this is true for office workers as well. Make sure that nobody's sitting at a desk hunched over. It's just not good for you. And so that takes me to number five, which is keep good posture. Make sure that you're paying attention to the ergonomics of your workplace, especially when doing things like lifting, moving things, pushing things, anything like that. Good posture right now can be frustrating and it can be a tedious thing to pay attention to. But down the road, it's going to prevent a lot of injuries. And especially when you're moving things, guys, don't pick stuff up with poor posture. It's not worth it. Number six, ensure everyone is wearing proper personal protective equipment or PPE. This is a pretty simple one. And once again, kind of comes down to the safety culture. If your safety culture is good, most of your employees should know that they're supposed to be wearing the PPE, and they should be able to call out other employees that aren't, just remind them of that. But wearing proper PPE is the difference between a near miss and a serious injury. Number seven, use tools and machines properly. Make sure that your employees are using the tools and machines properly. If you don't have handbooks and manuals that your employees are aware of and familiar with, make sure that you teach them how to use the machines in ways that's not going to hurt them. This includes doing things like lockout tagouts and JSAs to make sure that your employees and you are on the same page. Number eight, make sure that your employees are aware of emergency exits and emergency action plans. You don't want to be stuck in a situation where something terrible does happen and your employees don't know what to do. Make sure that they are aware of what you should be doing, what your current process is, and make sure that you're improving those as well if you can. Number nine, track your leading indicators. Leading indicators are going to be things like near misses. How are your actions being completed on time, your corrective and preventative actions? Is your training being completed on time? What is the retention rate of your training? But leading indicators, especially near misses, are going to tell you where an incident is going to happen. Once again, if you didn't catch the last video, take a look at the safety pyramid. That's a good way to be able to quantify what those leading indicators are actually going to do for you. Number 10, final one here, very important I think though, spend more time with the employees and less time in front of a computer. I know that as a safety manager, you're having to track things like paperwork down, you're having to stay in front of spreadsheets or on top of spreadsheets. You might have a software that you're using that's taking up a lot of your time. Guys, there's tools out there that will save you time, that will save you a lot of time. Make sure that you're empowered or that your employees are empowered to spend time with each other and have time to communicate about safety, and less time, and you're spending less time in front of a computer entering in incidents that have already happened. I would definitely recommend taking a look at Basic Safe. Our typical customer saves 90% of the amount of time that they were spending managing things like spreadsheets and paperwork, and it gets them out and interacting with the employees. That's all for today, guys. I tried to keep it short for Friday. Have a good week. Take time to leave your comments, like the video, share it with someone else who can use it. Thanks again.